Hi, my name is Meredith Little, and for the virtual museum project, I was assigned the Whitney Museum of American Art. The museum is known informally as the Whitney. The Whitney is physically located in New York, specifically Manhattan. It was founded in 1930 by Gertrude Vanderbilt Whitney. If you go to the homepage here, you can scroll through and it'll show some of the current exhibitions. If you scroll down to the About Us, you'll find background information, but a brief overview of the museum can be found under the link About the Whitney. It was the first museum dedicated to the work of living American artists, and its permanent collection comprises more than 23,000 paintings, sculptures, drawings, prints, photographs, films, videos, and artifacts of new media by more than 3,400 artists. The museum focuses on the 20th and 21st century American art. The permanent collection can be viewed online through a link under the Art and Artists tab in the menu bar. So you can look at the permanent collection here. The Whitney focuses primarily on the work of living artists, and during the museum's annual and biennial exhibitions, younger and lesser known artists' work is showcased there. If you go to the building or the neighborhood, you can find additional information about the facility. It was once located on the Upper East Side, but closed in 2014 and relocated to a new building designed by Renzo Piano in then Lower Manhattan, and it reopened at the new location in May of 2015. The new building increased the exhibition and programming space and truly showcased the incredible collection of modern and contemporary art. TheWhitney.org has an extensive website with a significant amount of information. You can see images here. If we go back to the neighborhood, you can see all about the area that it's located. If you scroll to the bottom of the About Whitney page, get back there, you'll see additional links with extensive history about the Whitney, information about the buildings as well as the neighborhood, and additional information about staff, board of trustees, and contact information. Brief history of the Whitney. Gertrude Vanderbilt Whitney was a strong advocate for living American artists. According to the website, at the beginning of the 20th century, artists with new ideas found it nearly impossible to exhibit or sell their work in the United States. Recognizing these obstacles these artists faced, Mrs. Whitney began purchasing and showing their work. Here's a photo of her there. Purchasing and showing their work, thereby becoming the leading patron of American art from 1907 until her death in 1942. Found it to be very interesting to learn, according to the website, that the Whitney was the first museum to take its exhibitions and programming beyond its own walls by establishing corporate-funded branches of museums in other parts of New York City and the surrounding area. The website also appears to be fairly transparent. As you go through, there's the permanent collection you can browse online, talks about the exhibitions, the directors, the building, etc. But it's also transparent in the sense that you can find information about their financial documents. So their annual financial statements from fiscal year 2018 through 2014, if you are interested in how they get their money and where they spend their money. So now that you have a little bit of background on the museum itself, and you might be interested in visiting, you can plan your visit. It's going to cost you anywhere from $18 to $25 unless you're 18 and under. which in this case admission would be free. You can of course buy your tickets online, skip the lines. You can also become a member, which would cost you anywhere from $90 to $300. They have different levels of membership here. Side note, the website utilizes many YouTube hosted videos that allow viewers additional insight into the experience at the Whitney, which I think is nice. So you could watch this short 19-second video. And then if you are planning to visit, make sure you check out their hours of operation because they are closed on Tuesdays, but open every other day of the week from at least 10:30 to 6 with later hours on Friday and Saturday evenings. Like many other museums, the Whitney has a pay what you can option or pay what you wish. Tickets are available at the admission desk Friday from 7 to 9:30. Cannot purchase those in advance. So if you are on a tight budget, that might be the best time to visit. And then finally, the Whitney has options to enhance your experience. They have this mobile guide where you can stream for free online. There's a link there. You can rent a device, and then it's also in Spanish, which is nice. The second option is a free daily tour. So free tours of the Whitney collection and current exhibitions are offered every day. No reservations are necessary. And that way you can be informed as you go. If you can't make it to the Whitney in person because you either live out of state or travel's not an option, you can definitely take advantage of their extensive online presence. So they do have a Learn tab here that you can access. There's education, public programs, courses, access, community, families, K-12, and teens. And so they're going to go through and they're going to show you all these different options. The education, obviously, you have to be there. Public programming, all of these are options that they have in-house. Their K-12 tab here has different ideas for guided visits, school partnerships, lots of different options here. But it isn't until you get to the educator programs that you can really start to utilize their website for the virtual museum experience if you're not in that space. So you could explore for teachers, and it gives you different options. The Whitney's collection, activities, teacher guides. These are all resources here for you to use. What I'm going to take you through is something that I developed on my own because I was actually inspired by one of the exhibitions and events that they currently have going on right now. So the way that I would utilize, even though they do have all these resources here, I was excited about this exhibition. So I would utilize the Whitney's Virtual Museum for my high school, an Introductory to Art course, or my Art 1, to have students navigate the exhibition called Spilling Over, Paint and Color in the 1960s, that's running currently from March 29th through August of 19. Obviously, if I wanted to do this, I would have to do it at the beginning of the year, next school year, or I would see what inspires me of their current exhibitions. That would be a way to stay current too and not continue to teach same curriculum. I mean, you could keep the structure similar, but change it up based on what exhibitions are being featured. So you would click here. So they would have a guided interactive experience. So as an introduction to our color theory unit, I would have students begin with this virtual museum experience. So to start, I would instruct students, obviously, to access the exhibition. They'd all be on their own computers and have access to headphones as well. They could also do this on a smartphone if necessary. We're a one-to-one school, so every student has a device. They will need to click on the exhibitions and events and then choose Spilling Over, Paint and Color in the 1960s. From here, I'd have them watch this introductory video with a runtime of 2 minutes and 52 seconds. It gives students an idea of the exhibition in the actual space at the Whitney. I'm not going to show that whole thing. If you want to watch it, you can definitely check it out. Then I would have students navigate down to the About tab here, and we're going to go through these tabs left to right for our virtual experience. I would have them read the About section here, and then I would ask students to respond to the following writing prompts in a Google Doc. So I would share this Google Doc with students. After reading the About section of the exhibition, please respond to the following. I would have students define the following terms: color-filled painting as well as op art, depending on the time of the year and the sequencing of your courses or your curriculum. They may or may not have experience with these two terms. Then I would ask students to write a short response. What clues does the About section give you before you begin the exhibition experience? What do you expect to take away from this experience? I would have them just do a short kind of journal response to that and then turn it in to me through Google Classroom. From here, I would have students click on the Artworks tab. And as soon as you do that, you notice that the number of artworks that are in the exhibition on display at the Whitney are featured here. There's 18 total. So as a fun way to introduce students to the works, I would create a color hunt challenge through the iOS app called Color Hunt. If you're not familiar with that, it can be purchased, downloaded for free through the App Store if your students have iPhones or if you have iPads in the classroom. So Color Hunt is the go-to option for super fun scavenger hunts. It takes all the fun of a scavenger hunt and gets rid of all the tedious and hard to manage parts. So playing is very simple. Anyone can start a game, choose how many colors need to be found, how long the game will last, and then all your friends can join. So instead of finding objects like a traditional scavenger hunt, you must find colors. Using the camera, your goal is to find the best match to the color displayed on the screen, and then you receive points based on that. And it's a little competition. So I would use this app to have students navigate through the different artworks just to expose them so that they're used to what they're looking at. I'm not going to talk about artists or dates or any of that stuff. So we're purely just looking at color at this point.